And a major ice storm is on the way. We're going to talk about the timeline and how much specific precipitation you could see where you are.
Preparing for ice, from potential power outages to expected dangerous road conditions, we're getting you prepared ahead of this weekend's ice storm. Plus, it's up to the jury. Deliberations will happen today in the case of a murder trial in Orange County that left 2 people dead. The closing arguments in the Isaiah Ross trial. WRAL News at 8 on Fox 50 starts in less than 30 seconds.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
We are really glad you're watching right now, because with the major winter storm on our way, we're about to share some very important information with you to keep you and your family safe. You're so glad you're with us in this 8 o'clock hour. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Destiny Patterson. As Ken said, WRAL has team coverage on everything you need to know, from travel changes to power outage preparations. We begin with that all-important forecast and meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner.
So we're still looking at a major ice storm that comes in for us starting late on Saturday and lasting until the wee hours of the morning on Monday. So a major ice storm means that we'll have a high risk for power outages, especially from Raleigh all the way up towards South Hill and back down to, say, Southern Pines. It may be slightly less of a chance in Goldsboro, Clinton, and Fayetteville, but we're talking still about a medium risk for widespread power outages. So no matter where you are, you need to be prepared to be without power starting early Sunday morning for the next several days. Winter storm watch in effect for the entire viewing area, and that may be upgraded a little bit later on today. This will be a high impact winter storm. Mostly what we'll see is ice that clings to power lines and trees, eventually begins to break those and causes widespread power outages. In some places, especially from the Triangle area northward, we may see this beginning as snow changing over to sleet and eventually over to ice, but we're still looking at some very heavy amounts of ice across the entire viewing area. Again, starting late Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening as some mixed wintry precipitation, and then ice overnight on Sunday night into the day on Sunday, and then eventually transitioning into some very cold temperatures as we get into Monday and Tuesday. And meteorologist Grant Skinner is going to talk more about that coming up. We do have some scattered showers in our southern counties this morning. Our temperatures are well above freezing, so this is all just rain and unrelated to what we'll see over the weekend. We're looking at the rain tapering off during the afternoon. It's cloudy this morning. In Goldsboro, it's 43 degrees. Our wind has already started to shift to northerly, but still expecting a temperature close to 50 this afternoon. So today is going to be a good day to get out, collect anything that you need to be prepped for widespread power outages. We may have a window again tomorrow morning. We'll talk specifically about how much ice could collect where you are coming up. Ken?
Well, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. Boy, things are coming toward us this morning. Those are the westbound lanes. Congestion beginning to ease up just a little bit, even though traffic has picked up. We're just down to a 2-minute delay on that southern loop of the Beltline. You know, the Lake Wheeler Road, Gorman Street exits we're talking about. You're coming in from Garner, Johnston County. No delays between Highway 36 and the Beltline. Things have really cleared up as well on that northern loop of the Beltline as we take a live look at I-440 and New Bern Avenue this morning. As we widen out the view and give you the entire look at the loop, we were seeing a little bit of a delay between the I-87 Beltline split to Capitol Boulevard. Really and truly, it's clear sailing as you get past Capitol Boulevard all the way over to Wade Avenue. So just a 3-minute delay on that northern loop of the Beltline. So nothing really that's going to make you late. As for other routes coming into the Raleigh-Wade County area, you're looking at a 4-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest, and just a 1-minute delay on I-87 coming in from Knightdale. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Looks pretty good out there right now, but we know that things will be changing pretty soon here. Crews are preparing the roads ahead of this weekend's winter storm. WRAL's Ali Kadlabar is on I-40 in Raleigh this morning. Ali, Brian is already down on most major roads. I've seen him.
Yeah, and crews just wrapped up grinding more than 6,000 miles of road just yesterday. And today they may have to go back out there. And that's because of those scattered showers that Elizabeth just talked about. Now, NCDOT says that the rain won't strip a road of all the treatment. It's still effective, just not as effective. Now, crews had to retreat parts of I-40 yesterday because of rain. If there's any heavy showers, NCDOT will make a decision on where to rebrine. Now, once the winter storm comes in, they plan to use salt treatment and motor graders. But even though they are prepping the roads, the extreme cold will be a problem. They're asking people to just stay home.
This isn't an event where the Mother Nature's going to help anything melt. So it's really going to be us. We're going to all work to get everything safe for folks to be out. People need to stay home and let us do our job.
NCDOT says this is going to be a big team effort with State Highway Patrol, emergency responders, and contractors, utilities all working together. So they're asking people to stay off the road, stay out of the way so that they can safely make it clear as quickly as possible. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
And you this morning, teams will be towing vehicles left on highway shoulders. Electronic message boards have been warning drivers about this for the last several days now. The Highway Patrol says the hope is to clear as many roadway hazards before icy conditions hit. Now, during the storm, abandoned or stuck cars will be marked with a yellow tape to indicate it's been checked and no one is inside.
It's just as tough for us to drive on these icy conditions as it is for everybody else. We get a lot of calls to help people that just have become stuck. They've slidden off the roadway.
Emergency management leaders want to be clear. Stay home if you can. Now, if you have to drive, take it slow, especially on bridges. The Highway Patrol says drivers should have supplies to stay warm in their cars just in case.
We're expecting flight cancellations in response to the icy conditions this weekend. We're giving you a live look at RDU this morning. That's where we find WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. Kelsey, RDU has been working on their winter weather plan for months.
Yes, Destiny, they have been preparing for this moment since about September. So crews will be hard at work this weekend, clearing off all of the runways as we're expecting that ice storm. And we got a behind the scenes look at some of the equipment that they're going to be using to help keep travelers safe. Check out this video here. The director of field maintenance at RDU says crews have been preparing their winter weather protocols since September. Their goal is to have at least one runway clear for takeoff and landing at all times. RDU has 60 tons of solid de-icer to help clear those runways.
It's the same principle as the brine, but we use a different chemical. It has a lower freeze point and is a whole lot less corrosive than what's used on the roadways.
RDU recommends that passengers should be checking their airline's app before arriving to the airport, just in case there are any cancellations or delays. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live at RDU.
Today, we'll learn more about how North Carolina is getting ready for the storm. Governor Stein will take more questions at a news conference this morning. It's scheduled for 11:30 at the NC Emergency Management Command Center in Raleigh. We'll carry that news conference live on WRAL, online, and on WRAL News Plus.
And new this morning, North Carolina Central University encouraging students to leave campus today ahead of that weekend winter storm. This university announcing switching to reduced operations starting this afternoon and will last through probably Tuesday night. That means that any classes before noon are canceled and classes after noon will now be virtual. Non-mandatory employees are also being given the option to stay home.
Of course, you can count on WRAL to stay on top of this winter storm until it moves out. We have the largest, most experienced team of meteorologists dedicated to keeping you and your family safe.
I want to bring you into the WRAL Live Center for this breaking update we received this morning from State Highway Patrol. They have identified the man who was killed in a hit and run. This was from this past Tuesday. What you're seeing here on your screen is video from that scene through the WRAL Breaking News Tracker on Tuesday. Justin Berwanger from Pennsylvania is the person who died, and again, we were at the scene of that aftermath. At the time, investigators told us they were looking for a driver, and at last check, they haven't said if they found someone. But this happened super early in the morning. We're talking about 2 a.m. Troopers are asking people who may have seen what happened that day to please reach out to them.
Well, today, jury deliberations will happen in Orange County in the murder trial of Isaiah Ross. Ross was testifying, and lawyers gave their closing arguments yesterday. Ross argues he shot Devin Clark in self-defense after Clark shot Lyric Woods. The prosecution says that story does not match the evidence.
Well, the Buddhist monks are now about 30 miles away from Raleigh on their walk for peace. They're waking up in Pittsburgh this morning. Last night, the monks spoke to a crowd of hundreds. Children even stayed up past their bedtime to hear what the monks had to say.
I think it's amazing that they have so much dedication to walk across such a long distance.
Honestly, I'm just surprised that they're not crawling right now.
Today, the monks will walk along US 64 toward Apex. They'll stop for lunch at the Jordan Lake State Park Recreation Area between 10:30 and 1 o'clock. And tonight, they'll sleep at Apex High School with visiting hours between 6 and 9 p.m. Today might be the best day to go see them given the winter weather that we're expecting. We'll continue covering every step of their journey all the way through Raleigh.
All right, Destiny, we're coming up on 8/11 now. Weekend event changes. Many of your plans are being postponed or canceled. More great reasons to stay home this weekend just ahead.
Plus, get prepared now. We can't say it enough. Stores are running out of essentials. The empty shelves we're seeing across the area.
And that is because we do have a major ice storm in our forecast for most of the area. I'll show you when it starts and how much ice you could see and what that means for the conditions coming up. 8:14, we're going to kick it off right now with dual Doppler 5000 radar. We do have some isolated showers, nothing heavy out there, a lot of cloud cover, and this is not related to the winter storm that starts late tomorrow. Our temperatures are well above freezing, except up in Roxborough, but the rain that we see this morning will be from the Triangle area southward. It should taper off right around or just after lunchtime. Then tonight, skies clear and temperatures take a big plunge. Right now, we're taking a look at Chapel Hill. Mostly people are out and about in jackets because the temperatures are mainly in the 40s. Again, minus Roxborough, 32, 43 in Durham, though, 45 in Fayetteville, 40 in Cary, and 42 in Rocky Mount. Our temperatures will climb into the upper 40s. We'll see a lot of cloud cover for today. But today is still a good day to get out and figure out what you're going to need if you lose power for the next 3 or 4 days. A great resource for that is WRAL.com, a huge resource, lots of lists, lots of ideas of things that you can do to prep for this storm. Ken?
And speaking of that storm, Elizabeth, 3 traffic takeaways we want you to keep in mind because the driving conditions will be extremely dangerous, particularly on elevated surfaces because of the icy conditions. But listen, if you have to be out on the roads, drive defensively, slow down, give yourself some extra time. But bottom line is, please stay home if you can. A couple of routes that tend to get busy this time of the morning. Things looking good on US 1 coming in from Wake Forest, but we're looking at a 7-minute delay on Highway 401. So our Roseville residents, keep that in mind as you're about to head out.
Thanks, Ken. New this morning, the town of Henderson has put a curfew in place as police investigate multiple shootings over the last several days. That new curfew will be from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. It's expected to be in place for the next 4 days. City leaders made the decision at an emergency meeting last night.
In the last 72 hours, we've had 2 juveniles, 2 young people that had absolutely nothing to do with anything. And so, to me, this is public safety all day long.
This is video from the scene of one of those shootings under investigation. Police say people were hurt on Wester Avenue on Tuesday night, including a 7-month-old baby. They say they're also investigating 3 related shootings on Wednesday that hurt 2 people, including a teenage girl. We've asked police how those victims are recovering. Police believe that these shootings were targeted, and now the State Bureau of Investigation is helping police in their investigation.
Well, of course, people are stocking up ahead of this icy storm that they're approaching our way. Look at some of the grocery store shelves here locally. The bread section at Costco completely cleared out. The same is true at Harris Teeter. And at this Target, the water aisle completely bare.
Well, we knew that was likely coming. This morning, we're tracking how the incoming ice storm is affecting weekend events as well, not just grocery stores.
That's very true. First, Astronomy Days at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences postponed. The free family event includes opportunities to meet scientists, hands-on activities, and a whole lot more. This is themed Passport to the Moon. The event will be held next weekend, January 31st and February 1st instead.
And the Kids Everywhere consignment sale is also changing hours tonight. They'll still have the ticketed adults-only sip and thrift event, but Saturday and Sunday's hours at South Hills Mall will shift to next weekend, January 31st and February 1st. The weekend ice storm could bring lasting power and travel impacts. Of course, we've been talking about it all morning, and the lingering cold after that precipitation ends plays a big part in that. Meteorologist Grant Skinner joins us now from the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Grant, we could see temperatures drop into the single digits early next week. It's WRAL Weather Alert Day back to back to back.
That's right. And the reason for that is we not only have the winter precipitation, but it's very, very cold after the storm ends. Someone on a report asked, how long will this ice last even after the precip ends this weekend? And it could last for a few days after. All depends on how much melting we see into Monday afternoon and Tuesday afternoon, because we know the morning hours are going to be very cold. If you have more questions as well, we have a live Q&A on YouTube at 10:30. Elizabeth Gardner and I will be answering more questions about what to expect with this winter storm. So make sure to tune in for that. But before that comes, I want to break down kind of what we're expecting for the very cold air. Lows in the 20s into this weekend with the wintry precipitation. And then you'll see by Tuesday morning, we drop to 10 degrees and wind chills will be even colder out there. I've been watching this Arctic air mass. It's well to our north and west, bringing wind chills into the 30s, 40 below zero towards Minneapolis. So very, very cold there. It won't be that cold over our area and not as windy too, but it's still going to be very cold and windy, especially Monday night through Tuesday morning. This is why we added WRAL Weather Alert Day to Tuesday. It's because look at the wind chills, possibly dropping below zero into Tuesday morning. We don't see that very often at all. We could have either extreme cold watches or warnings issued by the National Weather Service. We'll of course watch for those into this weekend, but as of now, just make sure you have a plan in place. Protect your people. Make sure to wear multiple layers if you're going to be outside. Check on your family and friends as well. Make sure to practice fire safety. Only use those safe heating sources indoors. And a big one, you have those outdoor pets. Make sure they are inside before the cold starts. Really to start this weekend, go ahead and bring those pets inside because it's going to be really cold starting tomorrow, and that will likely last into the first half of next week. Elizabeth, we're just hoping for some sunshine and a little bit of warmth to start the next week, so hopefully our roads will improve a bit, but it's looking quite cold.
It really is. This is an unusual storm. We haven't had a big ice storm in quite some time, and it's very rare that our wind chill drops down to zero or below. So just be ready for it. It starts late Saturday and continues into early Monday morning. It may begin in some places as a brief chance for snow and then a little sleet, but the bulk of this is going to be purely an ice storm, which of course is freezing rain. That's just a raindrop, just a liquid raindrop that falls into an area where the temperatures are below freezing, and of course it sticks to the power lines and the trees and your front steps, making things very slippery and causing power outages. Also, of course, we get into that bitter cold on Monday and Tuesday, so this ice will likely stick around for a while. The best chance of seeing some snow or sleet at the beginning of this is going to be from the Triangle area northward. This is mainly going to be just freezing rain in our southern counties. And again, the difference, sleet is an ice pellet and freezing rain is a raindrop that creates a glaze across the region. Everybody's likely to see a glaze of at least a half an inch. We'd begin to see power outages as early as a quarter of an inch. So this definitely looks like a real doozy for us. Right now, we're looking at some isolated showers unrelated to the winter storm that's coming our way, but we could see some light rain up until around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, mainly in our southern counties, and that's for today. Overnight tonight, the temperature will drop into the 20s, skies will clear, and then we cloud up again by Saturday afternoon. We're still dry at 4 o'clock, but after that, we may begin to see a wintry mix. Some of this may be sleet up near the Virginia line and possibly as far south as Raleigh. Some of that that begins as snow. This is going to be 6 a.m. on Sunday. At that point, some warmer air may start to creep in from the coast, and that will bring us, again, a little lighter amount of the freezing rain from, say, Goldsboro to Fayetteville to Clinton. But elsewhere, we are looking at just a solid flow of that ice across our area. Now, by later Sunday, we may get a break in the precipitation, but a cold front comes through overnight on Sunday night into Monday, which could bring us some more precipitation, maybe a little bit more accumulation. Then after that, we are done with it. A blast of bitterly cold air comes in. So this is a look. As much as a half an inch, possibly up to an inch of accumulating ice from Raleigh northward, and anywhere from about a quarter to a half an inch down south. What do all these numbers mean? Well, a tenth of an inch of freezing rain means bridges can be slick and there may be some light icing. But a quarter of an inch, that's when we start to get into the limbs breaking, more widespread power outages, dangerous roads. And at that half an inch, which is what most of us will see, travel becomes impossible and we see widespread power outages. So definitely turning cold. We're below freezing all the way up until Monday, and then that bitter wind chill will begin to kick in.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We started at that southern loop of the Beltline, I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. You can see the westbound lanes, traffic picked up and moving at a nice steady clip. Right now, you're just looking at a 2-minute delay on that southern loop of the Beltline. No delays whatsoever if you're coming in from Garner, Johnston County this morning. Things have definitely gotten a lot better on that northern loop of the Beltline. Again, those are the eastbound lanes moving away from us this morning. So as we take a look at that entire loop, we were seeing a little bit of a delay between 87 the Beltline and Capitol Boulevard, but relatively speaking, you get past Capitol Boulevard, it's clear sailing all the way over to Wade Avenue. And relatively speaking, most of our major routes are relatively delay-free at this hour. Another look at news, weather, and traffic after the break.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
It's 8:26. I'm Destiny Patterson. Let's get you straight over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner.
We're still looking at that high-impact winter storm that starts on Saturday evening. Most of this is going to be an ice storm with widespread power outages across our entire viewing area. Driving will be hazardous as well. This is the way it plays out. Late Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening, we'll have a mix of precipitation, some places a little snow or a little sleet, and then changing all over to freezing rain, which creates those icy conditions that causes power outages. And then after that, we're going to see some cold air that we haven't seen in quite some time. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're going to keep it to the southern loop of the Beltline, I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. These are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning. And really this time of the morning, we're just seeing a 1-minute delay. So traffic is moving rather nicely on that southern loop of the Beltline. Of course, you're coming in from Garner, Johnston County. No delays whatsoever between Highway 36 and the Beltline. Coming up, we'll take a look at some drive times on some other major routes heading into the Raleigh-Wade County area.
RDU says crews will be working around the clock to remove ice from planes and runways. Officials say they've been preparing their winter weather protocol since September. Their goal is to have at least one runway clear for takeoff and landing at all times. Today, jury deliberations will happen in Orange County in the murder trial of Isaiah Ross. Ross finished testifying and lawyers gave their closing arguments yesterday. Ross argues he shot Devin Clark in self-defense after Clark shot Lyric Woods. The prosecution says that story doesn't match the evidence. Next on Fox 50, how utility companies are preparing for icy weather outages. And up next on Today, talking to football superfans from the 4 cities rooting for their team to make it to the Super Bowl.
And a major ice storm on the way for the weekend. I'll show you when the precipitation begins and what you can be doing now to prepare.
And last-minute preparations, NCDOT brine trucks coating the roads and power crews calling in reinforcements. How local and state crews are preparing ahead of this weekend's ice storm.
Also, winter weather must-haves, whether it's a crash, a closure, or a power outage. 5 on your side explaining how being prepared in your car can be a lifesaver. We're just about 36 hours away from a serious ice storm. Our priority is to make sure everyone like you understands the threats and potential impacts on how to stay safe. So glad you're with us. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Destiny Patterson. Ken, this is, like you said, it's going to be very impactful. Our team is here to help you prepare for what could be one of the most impactful ice storms in 2 decades. This morning, the forecast specifics are now coming into focus. Let's get you straight over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner for that.
Definitely looks like a major ice storm for most of our viewing area. Let's go through what that exactly means. It means we have a high risk for widespread power outages across most of the region, from Raleigh all the way up to South Hill, back down to around Southern Pines. Some of our south and eastern counties have a slightly lower risk for multiple reasons. The temperatures may be slightly warmer. We may see a little bit of rain working its way in late Sunday in those areas, but there'll still be enough time to see a lot of ice accruing across our entire viewing area. So no matter where you are, you need to be prepared. Everyone is under that winter storm watch for the weekend. So it is a high impact winter storm. The biggest impact is going to be the power outages that we see because of freezing rain, which will fall onto trees and power lines, weight them down, and cause them to break. Hazardous driving will be part of the thing that we'll see as well. So late Saturday afternoon into the evening, there may be an area from the Triangle area northward where we see this beginning as snow, maybe some sleet, and then changing on over to icy conditions, that freezing rain that will weigh down the power lines and cause issues. Monday and Tuesday, we're looking at some very cold conditions, some of the coldest air that we've seen in quite some time. Dual Doppler 5000 radar showing a few light showers in the south right now. Those should taper off right around or just after lunchtime, and that is unrelated to our winter weather. We have gray skies across our area, and temperatures are mild. It's 43 right now in Goldsboro, and we're looking at low to mid 40s across most of the region. This afternoon, we climb to almost 50 degrees, and then overnight, our temperatures begin to crash. We're going to talk more about what you can do to be preparing. Ken?
Elizabeth, happening now in the 8:30 half hour, I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. Boy, things are looking really good on that southern loop of the Beltline, particularly those westbound lanes coming toward us this morning. Right now, no delays whatsoever. If you're navigating I-40 westbound there, Wade Avenue, that southern loop of the Beltline, or even you're coming in from Garner, Johnston County this morning, no delays between Highway 36 and the Beltline. Similarly, boy, things are looking good on that northern loop of the Beltline as we look live at I-440 near the New Bern Avenue exit. And as we widen out the view in terms of the entire loop, here's what it looks like. All the way clear sailing, a little bit of a slowdown when you get around Glenwood Avenue, but once you get through there, it's just a 1 minute delay on that northern loop of the Beltline. So giving you the bigger picture in terms of other routes heading into Raleigh, you're looking at a 3 minute delay on US 1 coming in from Wake Forest, just a 1 minute delay for you folks in Knightdale coming in on I-87 on those southbound lanes. You're getting ready to head into the car though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Okay, let's go ahead and swing back into our incoming ice storm coverage here. I want to show you this video here. This is actually from the city of Durham. Within the past couple of minutes, they were having this briefing talking a little bit about things that people should know in regard to preparing themselves for this storm. Just a couple of notes that we have right here. We say that they're deploying extra police and firefighters this weekend. Service calls will be the ones that are prioritized, and teams will also be carrying a shovel and ice removal equipment. 911 centers will be fully staffed, and video is this one that you see here. It's going to be playable again on its Facebook page and YouTube channel if you follow the city of Durham in that regard. But essentially, and this kind of sums it up, Mayor Leo Williams gave a warning saying people need to take this storm incredibly seriously.
Good advice there. For days, brine trucks have been getting the roads ready for the ice storm. This treatment is meant to make it harder for the roads to freeze. WRAL's Ali Calabar is live on I-40 this morning. Ali, NCDOT says some areas may actually need to be retreated.
And Destiny and NCDOT crews already had to retreat parts of I-40 yesterday because of rain. And Elizabeth has been mentioning those scattered showers throughout the morning. Well, those crews may have to come back out here. Now, if you're concerned that the rain may wash away the brine, it won't. But NCDOT says the rain won't strip a road of all the treatment. It's still effective, just not as effective. We've seen crews treat 6,000 miles of road over the past 2 days. If there's heavy rain today, they'll make a decision on where to rebrine. Once the storm comes in, they plan to use salt treatment, but even though they're doing all of this prep work, NCDOT says stay home if you can.
We want to emphasize the importance of being home or in a safe space before the freezing rain even begins. Because once it's on the road, driving it will be nearly impossible and very, very dangerous.
Now, once crews are able to make it to the roads to treat them during the storm, they're going to have contractors on standby to cut trees and move them out of the roads. So it's going to be very important that you stay off the roads, stay out of the way so that they can safely do their jobs and clear the roads as soon as possible. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Kadabar, WRAL News.
Today, NCDOT will share another update on their preparations for this weekend's ice storm. They're holding a news conference at the Wake County Maintenance Yard in Raleigh. It starts at 10 a.m. and we'll let you know of any updates as we learn more.
We are expecting flight cancellations in response to the icy conditions this weekend. There's a live look at RDU this morning. That's where we find WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. And Kelsey, RDU has been working on their weather plan for months.
Yes, Kim, they've been preparing for this moment since the fall, so their crews will be hard at work this weekend clearing off the runways here at RDU during this weekend's ice storm. So we got a behind-the-scenes look at some of the equipment that they plan to use to help keep travelers safe. Check out this video. The director of field maintenance at RDU says crews have been preparing their winter weather protocol since September. Their goal is to have at least one runway clear for takeoff and landing at all times. RDU has 60 tons of solid de-icer to help clear those runways.
A lot harder with ice just because the equipment is going to kind of slip a little bit when we have ice. So your strategy just has to change. So now we will make sure that we do our pre-treat application and treat it a little bit heavier and rely a lot heavier on our liquid and solid de-icer materials.
RDU recommends that passengers should monitor their airline's app, check those notifications just in case there are any cancellations or delays. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live at RDU.
Well, utility companies around the area are calling in reinforcements to make sure they have enough crews and equipment for this upcoming weekend. The companies tell us if the power goes out during these low temperatures, it could be dangerous for some. Durham's Deputy Fire Chief asking you to stay home because these icy conditions can increase the chances of power lines going down.
If you're out and you see down power lines, make sure you stay as far away from them as possible because you can't tell if they're live.
Another reason officials want you to stay home is drivers on icy roads put utility crews at risk while they're making repairs. Utility companies are also asking for you to be patient and allow crews to complete their repairs.
We also checked in with local school systems about the plans leaders are making and what steps parents are taking now. Some Wake County students brought home paper packets to work on so they don't have to take a break from learning next week. Durham and Edgecombe County schools are also working on how students can keep up with coursework at home. Keep in mind, though, the districts haven't canceled school. They're watching the forecasts. Parents, though, they tell us they're ready.
Since we have such a huge county, she may be out of school for days because there'll be some part of the county that has bad roads.
For more on what remote learning will look like, check out the education section on our website, WRAL.com.
And this reminder, WRAL has the largest, most experienced severe weather team in North Carolina. Stay with WRAL for live team coverage of weather and traffic conditions now and through the weekend. Of course, look for updates on television, online, and all our social media pages. Now is the time to make sure you have the WRAL News app to stay connected, even if your power goes out, and make sure you have breaking news and weather alerts turned on.
The jury will get back to deliberating in the murder trial of Isaiah Ross in Orange County. He finished testifying yesterday morning. The defense and prosecution gave their closing arguments, too. The defense argues Ross shot Devin Clark in self-defense after Clark shot Lyric Woods. The prosecution says that story doesn't match the evidence.
That what happened on September 17th was not planned. It was not premeditated.
Fear runs away. It does not give chase. It is consistent with the evidence. The victims were moving away.
The jury deliberated for about an hour before breaking for the day yesterday. We'll let you know if they make a decision today.
Well, the Buddhist monks are about 30 miles from Raleigh in their 2,300-mile trek to the nation's capital for peace. They stopped for their night in Pittsburgh last night and spoke to hundreds of people. Even some children stayed up late to hear the monks share their message of peace. Here's a look at where the monks are headed today. They'll leave the Chatham County Fairgrounds and walk along US 64 toward Apex. They'll stop for lunch at the Jordan Lake State Park and end their day at Apex High School. WRAL will keep you informed of where the monks are when they get there and any weather effects that they may face. Keep up to date right here on WRAL News and all our digital platforms. Top now 841, car emergency must-haves. 5 on your side shows you what you should keep in your car if you become stranded in the coming winter storm.
Let's give you a live look now at Durham. We have clouds and some light rain this morning, but things are expected to look much different once that ice storm hits. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will update you on the storm timeline and explain why we could have impacts that last into next week.
It's 8:45, taking a look at Dual Doppler 5000 radar. You can see just a little bit of light patchy rain in our southern counties right now. We're not going to see much of that today. It'll taper off right around or just after lunchtime, and most of it will stay south of the triangle. It is not related to our big winter storm coming this weekend. Our temperatures are above freezing right now, 42 in Wilson, 43 in Durham, and 45 in Fayetteville. And you see a lot of cloud cover across our area. It's going to be dry for much of the day today for the bulk of the viewing area, so it's going to be a good day to get out and get your final preps done for the possibility of losing your power over the weekend. On WRAL.com, there's huge resources of things that you can do to prepare your home and things that you need to have on hand. Take a look at that as we continue to watch what's coming, Ken.
And Elizabeth, with that in mind, we've got 3 traffic takeaways as we get ready for this icy storm. Driving conditions will be extremely dangerous, particularly on those elevated surfaces like bridges. Of course, we want you to stay home, but if you have to be on the roads, drive defensively, slow down, give yourself some extra time. And speaking of those roadways, checking Durham this morning, we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown between the East End connector there on Durham Freeway and Alston Avenue. You might want to take Highway 55 as an alternate route, but all the other major routes into Durham relatively delay-free at this hour.
Hey, Ken, I want to show our viewers this right now. We've been following, obviously, the Walk for Peace Buddhist monks that have been walking. This right here is on US 64 as they are headed to Apex right now. We've been going to the different places where they were last night. They were in Pittsburgh, and again today they're going to Apex. I actually just sent a text over to the mayor of Apex, Jacques Gilbert, and he just texted me back within the past 5 seconds and said, yes, he plans to meet up to see the monks there today. So as they continue to journey toward Raleigh, which they're still slated to do, you'll notice that they have some heavier layers of clothing on, and that is in anticipation of that icy storm that we have been forecasting all week long.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, you know, winter weather can change fast, and when it does, even a short drive can turn into trouble. 5 Inside's Keely Arthur sharing how being prepared in your car can keep a bad situation from getting worse.
All right, whether you're a minimalist and you have nothing or you're a doomsday prepper and you have everything, listen to this. This is for everybody. These are 5 things that you should keep in your car right now. Head outside and just throw them in. So first thing, a first aid kit. It's something that you rarely are going to need, but when you need it, you really need it. Same goes for a portable phone charger. It's nice to have on hand if your phone is running low or if your car needs to preserve power. This is an easy one, but a very necessary one. Non-perishable food items. Fruit pouches are great. Same with these tuna snacks if you're more of a salty tooth. Water, self-explanatory, buy a small case, keep it in your trunk. And finally, especially heating this type of weather, keep a blanket in your car. This one is bulky and it's going to keep you nice and warm, but if you want to save some space, you can get one of those thin emergency preparedness ones, fold it up, keep it in your glove compartment. All right, I'm Keely Arthur, 5 on your side. I'm off to my next story. I'll see you later.
Important tips there. The weekend ice storm could bring lasting power and travel impacts, and the lingering cold after the precipitation ends plays a big part in that. Meteorologist Grant Skinner joins us now from the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Grant, we could see temperatures drop into the single digits early next week.
That's right, some dangerous cold to start next week. That's why I want to emphasize that even though we will have impacts this weekend, by next week, Monday, Tuesday, possibly even to Wednesday, we could still see impacts because it will be very cold after the storm. Now, the good news is by the afternoon, Monday and Tuesday, highs will be a touch warmer. But even with that, I think we could still have some moisture left over and we could see some icy spots, especially in the shade. So keep that in mind through the start of next week. Lows in the low 20s this weekend. We dropped to 10 degrees for our low on Tuesday. It's been trending a little bit towards the single digits, and wind chills will likely be in the single digits and negatives into our Tuesday morning. You can see the deep cold air masses to our north and west, but that will slowly build in into this weekend. Already cooler today, but much, much colder starting tomorrow, especially with the wintry precip moving in as well. So Monday night into Tuesday morning, that's what I'm watching for our coldest temperatures over the next week. Wind chills drop to the single digits by around 11 o'clock midnight, Monday night into Tuesday morning. And then look at 5, 6, 7 a.m. into Tuesday morning, dropping to around 0 degrees, could drop below 0 into our morning hours on Tuesday. So it's important to make sure you have multiple layers before you step outside at all. Make sure you protect your family and your friends, protect your pets as well. Do not let them stay outside. Even if you have outdoor pets that are typically outside, bring them inside and leave them inside throughout the course of this event. And make sure to add some insulation to your pipes ahead of time. Today is a good day to finish up those preps because things will start to deteriorate tomorrow. Elizabeth, that precip coming later in the day tomorrow, but could last for a while. And then very, very cold the next week. We could see lasting impacts for a little while, Elizabeth.
Yeah, this is not the kind of storm that we see on a regular basis. It's been years since we've had a major ice storm here, and it's very rare that our wind chill drops down into the negative digits. So this is a high-risk sort of ice storm that's going to cause a lot of power outages beginning Saturday evening and could last through Sunday night, maybe even into the early morning hours on Monday. Treacherous driving and, of course, long stretches without power as well. Here's the way it should look by about 6 o'clock tonight. So far, we don't have the precipitation developing over Texas and the west, but it's definitely coming in the next 24 hours. We're going to see the blue shaded area, of course, as snow. The pink is going to be either freezing rain or sleet, and then the green and yellow is rain. So we'll watch this march across the country. It's not just us, but fully half of the population of the United States could be affected by this storm. So it's a biggie. Now, this shows the potential for the precipitation beginning as snow Saturday at around 7 or 8 p.m. This is sort of a new trend with some of the longer range models showing part of the viewing area seeing a couple of hours of snow. It would likely be less than an inch of snow, but it will cause its own problems. If we do see that, that can actually make the roads a little bit worse to have a layer of snow on them first. And then overnight, we see it all changing over to a wintry mix. Now, pink means either sleet or freezing rain. We fully feel like we'll have enough freezing rain to cause widespread power outages. But some of this could be sleet, especially from the triangle area northward, at least for a couple of hours. And then it all changes over to freezing rain with easily a ½ inch of ice, and that will cause widespread outages. Now, as we get into the day on Sunday, we might start to see some warm air changing it over to rain as far east as the I-95 corridor. So some of our far eastern counties may have slightly less accumulation of ice than we'll see from the triangle area westward. But no matter what, all of it is going to be enough to cause a major ice storm and major power outages. So we're looking at least a ½ inch or maybe a little bit more from the triangle area westward, and then east of the triangle, about a ¼ inch to a ½ inch, again, which will still cause some major issues. Again, this all starts Saturday evening. Mostly it's an ice storm with freezing rain. You want to stay off the roads and be prepared for widespread outages. What to do now? Plan to stay home over the weekend, especially Saturday night, Sunday, maybe even into Monday. Go to WRAL.com for help with ideas about what you can do to prepare. You definitely want to have some non-perishable foods and just be ready for this to be a long-range type of event. A little bit of patchy light rain for us today, and then, of course, we start to see the wintry precipitation Saturday night lingering into Monday morning.
Now, before we go to break, here are your winning lottery numbers. We'll also get another check on weather and traffic coming up next.